Just breaking now within the past 10 seconds or so, the indictment against Donald Trump, the United States of America versus Donald J. Trump. This just coming into the email. The defendant lost the 2020 presidential election, reading from the pages. Despite having lost, the defendant was determined to remain in power. The defendant repeatedly and widely disseminated to make knowingly false claims appear legitimate. He had a right, like every American, to speak publicly about the claim, even falsely. A conspiracy, and now I think we're getting to the charges. Shortly after Election Day, the defendant pursued unlawful means, this is the indictment against former President Trump, of discounting legitimate votes and subverting the election results. In doing so, the defendant perpetrated 3 criminal conspiracies. A conspiracy to defraud the United States by using dishonesty, fraud, and deceit to impair, obstruct, and defeat the lawful federal government function by which the results of the presidential election are collected, counted, and certified by the federal government in violation of 18 U.S.C. 371. Charge number 2, a conspiracy to corruptly obstruct and impede the January 6th congressional proceeding at which the collected results of the initial presidential election are counted and certified, the certification proceeding, violation of 18 U.S.C. 1512K. And a conspiracy against the right to vote and to have one's vote counted in violation of 18 U.S.C. 241. As I look at it, it's about 30 pages or so. Each of these conspiracies is built on the widespread mistrust the defendant was creating through pervasive and destabilizing laws about election fraud, targeting a bedrock function of the United States federal government, the nation's process of collecting, counting, and certifying the results of the presidential election. All right, Tom, so we're all sort of dissecting this and digesting it together. Of those 3, which one would you be the most concerned about?
I would say the conspiracy to defraud and conspiracy to obstruct. Those are ones where I suspect the special counsel will have an easier time in terms of getting evidence. To your point, Leland, he's presumably going to be relying on a lot of testimony of people who are in the former president's inner circle, people who have, quote unquote, flipped, people who are going to be giving testimony against the former president. But it's interesting. This is clearly, it's a historic day. It sounds from what you just read that the charges are similar. They're along the lines of what we had anticipated he was going to be filing, that you've got a conspiracy to defraud, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, and a civil rights charge thrown in.
Thanks for watching. Go to NewsNationNow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to subscribe. Click the red button to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.